Hello, romance readers. If you're looking for your next read and feel inspired by some of the books we've covered on Too Stupid to Live, be sure to check out TSTL's very own storefront on bookshop.org. Here, you will find a collection of books that the show has covered, as well as personal recommendations from me, Becky Feldman, the host of TSTL, who is talking to you right now. So rest assured, you don't need to worry about remembering titles or author names or having to go back into the episode catalog. Just head to bookshop.org/shop/TSTL podcast to view a collection of the books that the show has covered. That's bookshop.org/shop/TSTL podcast. Happy reading. Hello, and welcome to Too Stupid to Live, a podcast that reviews romance novels $5 and under. I'm your host, Becky Feldman. It is the start of February as I record this intro, and I know that everyone has been saying that this past January was like the longest month ever. Like everyone was like, oh my God, January felt like it was like 18 years long, and I do know why January felt so long. And it was obvious because this show was on a short hiatus. So I apologize for all of the distress that I caused to everyone because it was me. I single-handedly caused trouble at the start of 2025. I made your January long. Apologies. But anyway, I am so happy to be back recording regular episodes again with some fantastic guests and some wild books. I've spent the past few months working on the podcast Substack and online presence, which has been so rewarding and fun. So if you haven't already, check out the podcast Substack. That's really hard to say. Podcast Substack at tstlpodcast.substack.com. There are both free subscriptions and paid subscriptions, and paid subscriptions all go to supporting the podcast. And speaking of supporting the podcast, I just want to give a shout out to Substack subscriber at Technicolor Magic, aka L, on Substack. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And I also want to give a shout out to Russ Hugo, whose romantic pet name I decided is now Babe with an E. Russ, Babe with an E, Hugo, helped the podcast out with a happy ending on buymeacoffee.com at the end of last year, saying, "Listeners, as you know, TSTL is both hilarious and interesting. Cheers and thanks to Becky, and here's to many more years of podcasting." Thank you so much, Babe with an E. That really makes my day. So if you still want to support the podcast but don't want any monthly subscriptions, be sure to check out buymeacoffee.com/TSTL podcast. Oh my God, I feel like I sound like PBS right now. But what is definitely not PBS right now is the book we are reviewing today. Well, maybe the book could get past the PBS censors. Anyway, today my guests and I are reviewing the saucy contemporary monster romance Lessons with a Mothman by Kathryn Moon, which is currently $3.99. And I just can't think of a better way to just start this year than by reviewing an eroticized urban legend. I think all urban legends should be eroticized. Well, I think they are, but anyway, I couldn't have had a better guest to join me. Francesca from Under the Covers book blog is here. I have been loving the Under the Covers book blog. It definitely helps me pick out books for this show and books that I want to read in my personal reading life. So it was an absolute thrill to have Francesca on. So please enjoy this review of Lessons with a Mothman. Oh my God, Francesca, welcome to the first episode of Too Stupid to Live of 2025.
Oh my God, it's 2025. I'm so excited to be here, Becky. Thanks for inviting me.
I'm so excited to have you. You're kicking it off, so it better go well because this is going to dictate how the... No, I'm kidding.
No pressure whatsoever.
You're the barometer of how all of 2025 is going to go this year, so it's all on you.
No. Now I feel even more pressure because I picked the book.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I just want to say off the bat, I mean, this book gets an A+, you know what I mean?
Okay, good.
I am so glad you picked it. I'm so glad I read it. It was just like, I think this was like, I'm so excited to discuss this book, but I want I want people to like meet you
Yes.
via this podcast. Tell us about you and tell us about how you got started with Under the Covers.
Okay. So I run Under the Covers right now with my friend Suzanne, who's in the UK. I'm in Florida. And actually, Under the Covers started as four of us. There was originally four of us, and we met on Goodreads. Back on like the good old days of Goodreads groups, we had like our little group of like maybe 20 girls. And at the time, everybody was starting blogs. So this was back like Blogger days, or Blogspot, I guess was at the time. We started one. I really didn't want to do it because it felt like, why am I carrying on all this pressure of like having to create content around books? But then it was like so fun to do that in a group setting because we would have our little group chat. So in a way that replicates what we have now, you know, with other content creators. But it was just a lot of fun creating content and all of that. It's evolved from blogging to also other stuff. So we have a podcast, we have a YouTube channel. We've recently actually launched a second blog. So we don't just have Under the Covers bookblog.com. We now have also mysterylandia.com. So it's all about mysteries, thrillers, books, movies, TV shows, and podcasts, true crime, and all the stuff. So yeah, and now it's just two of us. We lost a few along the way.
It's a mystery, and then
yeah.
No, but that happens though. Like things evolve, but it kind of like it feels like it kind of helps you. Kind of you have such a platform now. Like you have your Romanceopoly, you have Mysterylandia. Like even though like it's like there are two people aren't here. It seems like it's helping you evolve to like kind of you have a very like strong community now.
Yeah, it's been, it's actually really nice because we started in 2000, I think 11. And it's actually nice to see the people that I remember that would comment along with us back in those years. And I still see them around today. And it's really nice to see that, we are providing something that it gives them enough of the community sense, and like they can find good recommendations, and it's built like that nice little community that kind of like stays with you. So yeah,
I don't know if it's like kind of the evolution of TikTok over the years or what, but like just how bookish communities, it feels like that's the thing these days, you know what I mean? Like I feel like reading is just it's beyond, it's become more than just you sitting in your house and a book, you know, like it is like, so I just was wondering if you could speak to that kind of the evolution of like the importance of community as a reader, I guess.
Yeah, I actually think is so important to have community as a reader. Number one, it will help you actually read more. Like for people that are just reading all alone, having even just it doesn't have to be a huge community. Like in the sense of community, it can just be a small group of friends. Maybe you have like 5 or 6 people that you get together with, or it's a group chat of online friends. Because I mean, I think the most amazing thing is finding these online people that like, hey, you're on the other side of the screen. Like we haven't met in person, but we can connect over our love of the same, sometimes weird things.
Yes.
Happens. But it's such a nice opportunity. And I think that we wouldn't be able to have those connections. And sometimes that can feel a little bit isolating, you know, like maybe I like weird things. And when I go and talk to somebody at a local book club, they look at me weird. So I'm able to find those people that I can have fun with. And it just kind of like makes you want to read more, I think.
Absolutely. Like, I feel like we are on we're on the same group chat as well. And I feel like I've discovered so much being on that group chat of just like, oh, like, yeah, there's this and there's that. And just like meeting you. And like, again, we've never met in person before, but like, we're still part of like this close community.
Yeah, we need to plan that one day for sure.
Yeah, we really do. Yeah, and be like, oh, okay, you're going to be like, she is so short. Wow, that is short. Oh, thank God. Okay, good. So we'll be the same height.
The first time I met Suzanne in person, because Suzanne is tall, and we went to a book convention together. And the first time I picked her up at the airport, because I got there before. So I see her and I'm like, she's so tall. I'm so short. I'm like, Oh, I feel like I'm her daughter.
Oh, cute. You're like internet mommy. Like,
yeah, like my head is on her boobs. It's okay.
Yeah.
We actually have that photo.
That is so fun.
Like,
and was she like, oh, you're so short? Like,
yeah. So I
Can
get
you
that.
talk to me about the idea of like, because I think something like just scrolling on your blog and just like seeing how it came into fruition, you talk about the idea of mood reading. And I like, it's such an interesting term. And I'm like, can you talk about that a little bit of like what mood reading is versus school read? No, I'm just kidding.
So I think the important thing, and in terms of mood reading, that is something that I probably wasn't as good at years ago. So it really is whatever you're feeling, just go with that. Like, for example, how we picked this book. I just saw the keyword of this book has a moth fae, and I just couldn't get past that. And I'm like, yeah, that's the mood. That's the vibe right now. That's what I want to read. So it's really going with the flow as opposed to, oh, well, I like to read XYZ genre, and that's, I'm going to set a TBR and I'm going to pick out like the popular books or whatever. I think it's just giving yourself the freedom to just read whatever you feel like today. And also that means maybe starting 3 or 5 or 10 books and reading all of them at the same time, because maybe right now I don't feel like continuing this one, which I do have like 3 right now that I have going.
Sure.
Because it's like, okay, well, I have a fantasy that's really steamy, but I feel like picking up some murder at the moment. So let's just go in that direction. So giving yourself that freedom. It's all about giving yourself freedom to do whatever, pick up whatever the vibe is at the moment.
Yeah, it feels like it's kind of like this thing of just reminding you that like this is supposed to be fun. This is a hobby. This is about relaxation. Like it's kind of separate. It's like I think we are so ingrained to like see everything as an obligation, or a responsibility. And it's like, this can be what you make of it,
Yeah. Yeah. And that also goes for not finishing books too, which is also something I struggle with so much. Oh my God. So much.
Same.
And
yeah.
Just drop it.
Yeah.
You don't have to finish it. Nobody's going to judge you. The police is not coming to tell you like you have to finish
you
this
didn't
book.
finish. I know. But like the thing is that I still feel like I was literally having this conversation like 2 days ago with my sister-in-law, and she was like, I'm in the midst of a 3rd book. I really don't want to finish it. And I feel so guilty putting it down. And I was like, I am with you. Put it down.
Yeah. Forget the guilt.
Yeah. Because it is like, it's not only like, sure, like you have to like add this thing to your epithet of like, here lies Becky Feldman didn't finish a book. You know what I mean? Like there's that element to it, but
pride
then it's like,
and ownership on that.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, it's like, okay, am I an idiot? Because it's like, oh, if I borrowed it, is there someone waiting in line for it and I didn't finish it? Like, oh, if I bought it and, I feel bad that I'm not getting my money's worth, or someone wrote it and I'm not finishing it. Like, it is like, there's just like so many different ways to like feel shame in the world of reading that like you really don't have to, you don't have to, not really don't have to.
Yeah, we need to let go of all that shame. And I mean, listen, if you bought it, you still have it on the shelf, you can always pick it back up if the mood strikes, going back to mood reading. Or if you borrowed it, you just make a note of where you were at, save that somewhere, like have a little notebook of your little list of dead books. And you can borrow it again if it's ever something you want to look at. So why feel shame?
Exactly. And it just is like books don't die. Like, and it's like, do not finish means you're not finishing now. It doesn't mean you're like, if you don't finish something, it's like you don't have another chance. You're never going to have an opportunity ever again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I do want to discuss this book. So let's get into it because it is so weird. It was like, I loved it. We reviewed Lessons with the Mothman by Kathryn Moon, which is currently $3.99. So here is a synopsis. When graduate student Victoria enlists a moth Fae sex worker Elias to assist with her research on monster sexuality. Her mental field notes become more about her own human sexual desires. So when she decides to insert herself into her research, she finds herself unprepared by just how much Elias is willing to insert himself in her. And yeah, it's not just his antenna adorned cock making an impact, it's his commitment hungry heart.
Loved it.
I'm still ironing out the kinks of my synopsis writing. This is the first synopsis of the year. I was like, okay, you'll be forgiving.
Loved it.
So I asked you to, so I usually ask the guests like, oh, is there like a specific book you want to read? You found this book and you did talk about like, yes, moth fae, sex worker. Tell me about your love of it. Tell me about your love of monsters, I guess, of like monster based romance and stuff like that.
So I have discovered, let's go to regular monsters. I've always read vampires and shifters and those kind of monsters. So I would call them the classic or traditional.
Sure.
But going into a little bit out of this, out of the norm, like the orcs and the aliens, it's probably been just like maybe 3-4 years that I've been exploring those. And I've been really having a good time with that. I think it's because there's a certain level of seriousness too when it comes to the vampires and the shifters, at least the ones that I've picked up. And these other monsters don't really take themselves too seriously, which I really love.
Yes.
And I don't know, I feel like there's always a time and place for those kind of books, especially to like lift your mood. And they're usually really sexy too. And authors have to get very creative with all these different body parts and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just love that. When I saw this one, because again, it's been a few years and I've read, a variety of monsters. I'm like, moth. Never would have thought that we would be here.
Yes. Who would have thought? I because I read the C.M. Nascosta Mothman book and I was like, I guess this is what moth men are. And then I read this book and I'm like, oh wait, this is different. Like, and I'm kind of circling around the fact that they both have two entirely different dicks. Their dicks are so different, and I was just like, okay, all right, the world's really your oyster, writers. When you're writing about Mothman.
Who would have thought? We will have to delve deeper into this topic. Like, we need to find more books. Are there even more books? I don't know. I've never seen one.
I don't know. And what was also like equally interesting about this world in this book particular, which is the Monster Smash Agency, is also its look at sex work and like the kind of like kind of like taking that world seriously. And like, honestly, like, not that well, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm one of the many people who read Come As You Are last year by like Emily, I forget her, Nakowski or something. And it's a nonfiction. It's about like female sexuality. And I'm like, this book kind of rivals that about like kind of understanding human sexuality, even though one is like very much nonfiction. And this is like literally every monster ever just fucking.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite things about this book. And I don't know if the original synopsis like doesn't really give you that vibe or doesn't really tell you too much about that aspect of it. So I was not really expecting that. And I really, really enjoyed that. I think that they really delved into the work, because our hero is a sex worker. And also like how he viewed it. It was very interesting, because I love that dynamic. And then the difference between sex for him and the actual relationship, which also was really interesting in the fact that that's not really what he was looking for. He kind of felt like he should, but, it's because his friends were getting paired up and stuff. So it wasn't like, I really loved that aspect of it. And then how the sex aspect evolves with our heroine too, because she is coming in to study it in a way.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think that there was so much about sex and sex work that is seen from all, it was almost academic.
I completely agree. Yeah. It was like, it was very academic, particularly from like, Victoria's side of it and exploring your own body. But what I found really interesting, like seeing Elias, like, I don't know, I feel like, having read other like books where there was like, where that involves sex work. And sometimes it seems like they kind of put the sex workers on a platform of like, look at the magical sex worker teaching everyone about how life works, right, versus this with Elias being like, he's a human being, but I mean, he's a character just like all of us, where human. Like he's a human, where like he understands sex and he understands his job, but like he doesn't understand love, and he's still just as like, yes, he's very knowledgeable about like the sex trade, but about his own heart, he isn't knowledgeable. And like, I don't know, it's just like nice to see, because I think like some other maybe stories that are along this caliber, whether there's monsters or not, like they're always just like, well, if you listen to the wise and telling sex workers, they know, like it's like, well, they're humans, so.
Yeah I agree with that 100% too. And I think that there was a scene towards the end where he kind of like, he doesn't know what his place is in the relationship, and like how he kind of insinuated himself as the boyfriend at the end and all that. And like she was like, no, that's not how this works. I love that, because it put him in that aspect of, no, he doesn't know what he's doing, and he doesn't know his own feelings yet. Like he thinks that's what he should be doing, but he has to like really analyze that. And I love that his friends were also there to guide him through that. So I really like that. It was just a really interesting take on sex work and sex, and like you're getting it from all different aspects, but also love and relationships and feelings.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because like I feel
how
like
deep for Moth.
I know. He's very deep. Because like it's like there, I feel like if that wasn't in the book, I would have found his character so annoying. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like he is so he's so knowledgeable about like kind of interactions between people and sex and trust and pleasure and all this stuff, and he is educating Victoria in it. Right. Like he is being her research assistant in this. But the fact that like, but if he were like perfect and had like, and like the only flawed individual was Victoria because she was too scared or whatever, I would have been like, this guy sucks. Like he shows up at the end with coffee for her, like ready to meet her mom, unbeknownst, and it's like he's in the right. I don't think so.
Yeah, totally agree. Also, speaking on the fact that he could have come across a little bit annoying, I think that she managed to write an alpha male that like wants to fix everything, but in a way that didn't feel off-putting, which was really weird. It was just like, I was like, normally I would be throwing a fit. And I'm actually not bothered. Like it came from a point of really understanding him and understanding why his nature was just like, oh, well, you have this problem, I'm going to fix it.
Yeah. And like understanding that like, yeah, that is a very sexy trait, like, but also him having like learning the self-awareness of when he's putting his foot in his mouth or his thorax. I have no idea, but you know what I mean? His wing. I don't know what moths have.
I need an anatomy lesson.
Because he really does like, it's so interesting because it's like he's so nice, and it's like so like he takes he like helps Victoria by like staging these kinds of like sex scenes in the beginning, and he goes all out. Like he decorates his empty house with to like meet expectations. He is like going above and beyond, and it's like meeting someone for a coffee date off of Tinder, and they're like bringing you flowers and like, someone playing music where you're like, whoa, my God, this is so much.
It was a lot. But at the same time, then when she actually sees like where he lives and how different that is from what he was portraying at first, because like she was like, oh wow, this is so magical and beautiful, and then there's this other like hidden side to him. So that was really nice.
It was so nice because you realize like, oh, he's not fully formed, like, and nor should he be, because nor is Victoria, who we should talk about, because I actually related to her so much. Like that more than I expected. I love the flaws of the characters in this book, and not that like what she did was a flaw, but I guess I'm thinking of like kind of, they talk about her past relationships and you know, kind of how she got involved with a professor and how she might not have been the most faithful person to her former boyfriends. And again, like, I feel like it's such an edgy thing to kind of put into a book like this, and it worked so well.
Yeah. Yeah. And even the relationship with the professor, we also see then the professor being seen as a predator, you know, and I think that also I think she had a bit of an internal struggle with, that was something I did willingly, but was there any manipulation because this is who he is? Exactly. So I really also was not expecting such a deep topic to be thrown in the mix there in that scenario,
especially one that's like so nuanced in that way, because like it I think it is something that like a lot of people are struggling with, like, you know, since Me Too, and now we're in like post Me Too or whatever that term is, of like looking at like, you know, consent and power and willingly entering something and willingly manipulating your power. It's not as like black and white and cut and dry as like I think we would like it to be, you know, just to help us understand. It's like, oh, all of these instances are so nuanced. It's just all based on context, and like everyone has their own individual context to it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. But I also really appreciated her willingness to take on a topic like this and how she went through the whole process, you know, like even though she didn't really know what she was getting into, she kind of like was confident in how she approached it. And I felt that was, I don't know, I really love that, because it didn't put her in that, I guess, in that really annoying heroine, which like, oh no, I can't look at this, or I am so this or that. Like, she was just confident throughout the whole time, even from like the first scene where he brings her in to just like watch his friends.
Yeah, there was a level of like ownership. Like, I think it's very hard for people to like kind of own maybe some sort of sexual in quote unquote inadequacies, you know? Yeah. Her major issue is that she can't have an orgasm with another person. And I think in a book or in her love story years ago, it would have been like the guy being like, I'm taking all that challenge, and bam, story over. You know what I mean? But like, she very much like kind of owns it in a way where, yes, she, you know, maybe isn't achieving orgasm during sex, but she still has a very much to like, it's very much like, but this is what I want, you know, and you have to accept that. And I think that was the first time I've ever read something like that in a book like this, you know, of like, oh, the sex, dare I say, felt very real.
Yes. I think, wasn't there also like a sex scene where she fell asleep or something, or was she like half asleep or something? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Yeah, and you know what I liked about that, it was that that's what she wanted, because like basically her thing is, which again, I think a lot of people relate to, I certainly do, is just being in your head during sex. And just like kind of when that happens, not being in your body, not being able to kind of fully be in the moment and be your truly authentic, intimate self. So her thing is like, it would be, if can you go down on me or something, or, you know, have sex with me when I'm like half asleep. They work this out. It's like all consensual and stuff.
Yeah.
But
sorry, I should lead with that. Like, it's not like he was
yeah, but like
taking advantage of her.
Yeah, of course. He totally was. It was like all like totally worked out. But it was like, oh, but she achieved it, and it was the first time she has an orgasm with him, and she's not in her head, which is great. But it also wasn't the triumphant orgasm for her, I would say. Right. Like, you read a better one for her, which I'm like, oh, cool. This is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I really love that. And I love that he's also giving her the space to do that.
Yeah. Because you kind of, back to what you're saying about how like he's like this guy who needs to fix everything, especially as a sex worker, when it's their job to deliver you pleasure. And you're saying, I don't feel pleasure in the way that you're used to delivering. That it's such what a mental challenge for him, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I really love that he was able to step back and give her the space and respect whatever, you know, along the way, whatever limitations she put on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's interesting, like, kind of seeing, like, I feel like, I don't know, it's just, did you watch that Gwyneth Paltrow Goop Netflix series? No. It was about her company Goop, and it was starring her. So it was like,
I have stayed away from all things Goop.
You should, as you should. But there is one episode where, like, they meet, like, kind of a like this older woman who's like a sex, I guess, kind of some sort of sex therapist. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they're talking about like how we should be one with our bodies, you know, all that stuff, all that good stuff of like knowing what our body looks like, you know, women being in touch with their sexuality, all of that is great. But like, I think that like, they kind of have this like very kind of narrow view of being like, okay, well, the point of sex is to have an orgasm, right? Like that's why we go into it. And sure, I'm sure that's the case for a lot of people, but and I feel like I see that case for a lot of characters in romance novels, but Victoria wants sex, but her end goal isn't just coming, you know, her end goal is for connection, and it's not necessarily for the climax of it, of the release of it all. And I was like, yeah, this is really interesting and very nuanced and very, very real, you know, because not everyone can have an orgasm during every single time. You know, we're all not romance novel characters.
Yeah, I really love that. And I think you also see a glimpse of that. And I haven't read the other books in the series, but I think you also see a glimpse of that in like how the other couples relate to each other as well, which I really loved.
Yeah. And they make it seem like, because I think this is the second or third book. I haven't read, okay, so it's the third book, but it seems like there were other kind of like the other characters who have already paired off. Like they were very like nuanced kind of like, they kind of allude that there's like deeper issues than it seems from the page, you know?
Yeah, which I thought it was just a really interesting, like it was a deep book for what I thought we were getting, which I really love.
Yeah, I loved how deep it got, and like it was just, I don't know, I just like found it so fascinating. Yeah. So I want to ask you about like some headline scenes that you had, just like things that kind of like stuck out to you that it's like, I say Lessons with the Mothman. What is a scene that like the first one that comes to you?
So for sure, the scene that I just talked about where she's asleep, I really, really love that. Mm-hmm. But, you know, on a lighter note, the Kraken.
Yes, that's going to stick with me forever.
I'm like, okay, this is interesting. What is happening? We have a moth, we have a Kraken.
Yes.
I am watching.
I'm like, I'm here for it. I honestly think it popped up in my dream last night. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, in a pool, and like it was basically they like have a three-way with a Kraken. Who wouldn't? They're both getting penetrated by tentacles at the same time, and they're penetrating each other, and I'm just like,
there was a lot of antennas and tentacles.
There were so many like bug based like squirmy body parts.
But it was so fun. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening right now?
There were times like during that scene, I was just like, wait, what is where? And I like needed to put the book down to kind of almost draw it out. But then I was like, it doesn't matter. Like it's about their experience. I'll draw it out later. It's not necessary right now.
But I think that she also managed to make it, I don't know, it felt also very respectful. Like how the Kraken is waiting and like, it felt like very consensual, very natural how everything happened. Mm-hmm. And also like not one moment of feeling like Elias was bothered or like anything. It just felt perfectly done.
Yeah. It was a very like kind of responsible and respectful three-way. And I think that was like kind of another theme in this book of just like showing respect and
God, yes.
that kind of need of like when you're sharing your truth, you need to respect other people's truth, you know?
Yeah, I think there was another scene that really showed that respect is when she's going into his home to watch, you know, the voyeuristic part of this book where she's going in to watch the other couple having sex. And Elias really gives her space because he's like, okay, well, she's here to do her job. And even though, you know, I want XYZ, like, he's like, I'm going to go sit over here and I'm just, you know, not going to touch. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to do anything. I really love that.
Yes. Yeah. There's just like knowing boundaries and just like reading the room, you know, like in terms of like, oh, this, like we just met. This is an academic thing. We are attracted to each other. This is so weird, but I know my space. I know. Yeah, it's very sexy.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I was like, he's a good assistant. Like, and like, just like, you know, I don't know, like he was as annoying as, because there were some things that did annoy, like there were times where he would like reminded me of Frasier a little bit of like,
I could see that.
Yeah, just like the things of like, oh, should I get the Art Deco, blah, 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 you know, for the, like the crown molding for the blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I think that also comes from him trying to like be too perfect and like everything has to be just right.
Yes. Yeah. Which is hilarious, relatable, lovable. But yeah, again, if we didn't see
and
that
sometimes
vulnerable,
you want to smash him. It's fine.
Yes, but it's because we're rooting for him and we love him so much. We love Elias.
Yeah.
I feel like my headline scene is, and just because like I have read something recently which was in kind of a similar vein. So they do a lot of role play. Like role play is kind of like a big thing, and they have a role play of professor and student, and he makes her write an essay. Like he has his house and he only uses the upstairs attic as his own personal thing. Everything else he kind of like it's all decorated differently for different reasons, whether it's like party or this or that. So he has a room in his like mansion that's like decorated like a kind of like a professor classroom thing, and they do a, you know, teacher student like role play thing, and he full on makes her write an essay. Like she is writing an essay, and I was like, oh my god, like the pen and everything. I was like, it is obviously sexual, but I'm like, this is torture. I love this.
It was funny.
Yeah. His attention to detail was just so great.
Yeah. It really was.
What did you think of like Victoria's backstory, like with her parents and her sister?
Yeah, I think especially with her sister, it really like gave a lot of meaning and layers to her story. So I don't know. I think that it felt like in a book like this, I wouldn't have expected to go deep into, you know, families' histories and all of that. But yeah, I really appreciated that because you really get to understand her as a character in the struggles also that she was having. So you also see kind of a little bit of why her relationship then at the end makes sense, you know, like her struggles in the end. So yeah, I really appreciated that she added that.
Yeah, I thought it was such an interesting backstory in the sense that like her sister ends up marrying her ex-fiance, and it's like I kind of like that take because it's also kind of the premise of a different book, you know what I mean, that like already happened, of just like my sister's boyfriend, you know what I mean, and it's like, oh, that's a fun romance story of like taboo lines crossed, but that's not about that's but now here's the sequel to it, and it just happens to be in this world of Mothmen. But it just kind of like made me feel like, oh, how much is on Victoria's shoulders to kind of be polite and, you know, put on a face for her mom, for her sister, to tell her everything's fine, even though, you know, everything might not be 100% fine within herself, you know?
Yeah. Which I think explained also like what you were saying before in like her interactions with previous boyfriends and all of that. Like you're really understanding where she was probably coming from and acting in certain ways.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you think about like Elias and kind of in terms of world building, in terms of Moth Fae? They kind of they make it seem like he is one of the last surviving Moth Men. He has this job, like it's almost like, dude, you got to keep procreating if you don't want the moth people to die out. But he is in love with Victoria, obviously, and is going to be with her. Like, kind of, he kind of has an interesting kind of role in the world of being one of the last Mothmen left.
Yeah. And I actually appreciated that even with that, he's with Victoria.
Yes.
I really appreciated that. I probably would have wanted to explore more the, backstory of the Moth Fae, but I think that she was going in so many directions that it doesn't make sense to have added a whole other thing to it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it was really interesting, the little bit that we got.
Yeah. It was interesting. And like, what I realized is that he's been alive forever. Like he's like, centuries years old, and she's human, I guess. And like they don't really touch on that of like, hey, what's going to happen when I'm 80 and whatever, and you're 700 and you look younger. Like, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
For
matter.
right now, it doesn't matter.
Who cares? And even if like that does happen, he'd be like, I'd be into it. You're beautiful, and you're like, yeah.
And then they also don't get into then what happens after she dies.
Exactly. Yeah. And like that, it doesn't, I mean, again, it doesn't matter.
We'll put a pin on that. We don't need to know.
Yeah, just let's live our lives first, and then we'll deal with that, which is pretty much how we should be living our lives. If anything, they're teaching us,
Exactly. Yeah, and I also appreciated the fact that he is so old, and in all of that time, he never really had the desire to be in a relationship or to have feelings for anybody, and it never really became a thing. For him during all that time and being in his line of work, which I find that fascinating.
I find it so fascinating too. And the fact that like in his line of work, like I think it's like so much more than like understanding how to like give someone a good orgasm, which I'm not saying that's not in part of the job, but like it's also like understanding how humans talk and react when hearing sex and relationships and things like that. And the fact that like, to be fair, like he is a sex worker, yet he like shows up saying I love you like when he doesn't mean it, and showing up with the coffee with the mom, and yet like, well, you're a sex worker and like you kind of, your job is transactional kind of things, like why wouldn't you think, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I'm like, you never picked up any of these cues.
Exactly.
The whole time you've been alive.
Yeah. Not only the whole time that all 7,000 years you've been alive, but also working in sex work. Like you've never understood. Like...
Completely clueless. It's fine. It's cute.
It's so cute. And it's like, I get it. And it's like, we all have our blind spots. He does. It's his heart. Yeah. Like, of course our heart is our blind spot, but it is like, it is funny. It is funny to see someone confident kind of mess up, and like I think that like sometimes like with kind of maybe in the last couple of books that I've read, just kind of like the powerful romantic male character just never making any mistake along those lines of like, you really messed, like, not that it was really like their biggest mess up is like, oh, I hung up the phone by accident. Like, it's not like, oh, I literally inserted myself in your family. It was a big mistake. But
it's not realistic. It's not realistic for anybody to be that perfect.
I know. And it was just like so nice to just, it kind of made him seem sexier in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, I want to play. Okay, this is going to sound more sexual than it is, but it's not. But it is. We're playing a role-playing game. Okay.
Uh-oh.
It's role. Yeah. Okay, so you are, let's say you're Victoria, and you're doing a study on monster sexuality, and I am Elias, in that I know a lot of different monsters who will have sex in front of us. I also have like a huge house that I can cater any of my rooms to making up any scenario. So I'm going to tell you a role-playing scenario and what you're going to be studying. And then you're going to tell me what two monsters or humans or any romantic people you would like to see participate in this experiment.
Okay.
So in my house as Elias, I am putting together like a classroom, in my living room. It's going to be a professor kind of grad student role play scenario. You want to study kind of how someone can be a gentle, kind, dominant lover. What two monsters, based on your reading experiences, would you want to see participate in that scenario?
I kind of have to say an orc.
Okay. Yes.
With a human.
Orcs are gentle.
Because the gentlest, but then the size is going to like give you that feeling of dominance. But the gentleness. So I think for sure the orc and human.
I agree with that. There. I would do that too, because I keep forgetting that orcs have, like, a lot of orcs do have claws and talons and stuff. And having a gentle touch while with something really sharp that could like hit an artery, that's that is pure gentle dominance.
Yeah.
not stabbing someone is very gentle.
The feeling is there, like, oh, this could go bad at any second.
Yeah. And then when it doesn't, it's like 10 times, it's like, this is the most beautiful thing in the entire world.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I have a scenario in my big house. I am putting together an exam room. It's a doctor-patient role-playing scenario. And you want to study how someone can do dirty talk with confidence. What monsters or romantic leads would you put in that study?
Could we use demons?
Oh, yeah. And we could definitely use demons because agreed.
I'm thinking demons. And I would actually go with 2 demons.
2 demons dirty talking each other.
So that there's some back and forth.
Yes.
Exert the dominance, Like it can't just be overpowering on one side. That's
agreed.
Boring.
Yeah, I agree. Because it is like, it's more about like commitment to characters.
It would be even better if they're like these 2 different types of demons that have been like enemies for, ages. Lots of tension, forbidden romance.
You need to write that.
It all comes out in that dirty talk.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. It's 2 demons. I think we're writing a story here. 2 demons. They've been enemies since the beginning of time. They are
We're gonna get the whole plot right now.
Exactly. They're in a prison. The only way they can get out is if they role play but they fall in love with each other. I think we got a series here.
Yes.
It's called like Sex Prison or something. I don't know. Sex Hell?
Yes,
I don't know.
Love it. Love it. Or you could even put it as if we're going on space, they're like, so there was this book that I read by, oh God, I can't remember the name right now, Jesse Mahalik.
Okay.
It's called Polaris Rising.
Oh, yeah.
The hero is escaping from prison. And the heroine is technically a princess, royal princess, but she wants to escape her arranged marriage because she doesn't want to marry the guy. And they both end up on the spaceship. He has no idea she's there. And then, of course, they're after him. And, of course, they're after her because she has to go and do the thing. So, actually, that setting, but 2 demons.
Yes.
Escaping from something. They just got out of jail. They broke out of jail. And they're escaping in the spaceship. That's what it is.
Okay. Here's everything I love about that. Space demons.
Demons in space.
Demons in space. They're escaping. So it's like, who's the real demon here? Is it their imprisoners or themselves? Demons can be victims too. I love they don't know they're on the same ship. I'm here for this. I am here for this.
We've got a good one going.
That's a good one. That's like, okay. Now I feel like, okay, let's see if you can come up with another one for this next one. Okay. You are, okay. In my huge house, or even in my spaceship now, I have put together a throne room, like kind of like your medieval fairy tale throne room. And they are role playing like a monarch, like a king or a queen, and they're role playing like this illicit love affair they have with their loyal, stable hand. And you're trying to study like stamina and lack of refractory period of monsters.
You're going to laugh at what popped in my head.
I am so excited to hear this.
So the royal, I would actually say, is a queen. We're going underwater.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'm thinking Ursula type.
Yes.
It's a villain heroine. Mm-hmm. So she's the queen. Mm-hmm. And so I would say, Ursula. And then the stable hand would be like a kraken.
Ooh.
And then the hero, I'm thinking like Aquaman, merman type. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the combination I would go with. And the setting would be underwater.
I love this. You are so creative. Underwater throne room. So, okay, tell me, do you like your fish monster? Yes. You love your fish monster romances.
I haven't read enough of them. Oddly enough.
Me neither. Like, I have read a few, but not enough of, like, I mean, I've obviously orcs have kind of outweighed the underwater people.
Yeah, I've read some weird ones too, where there was a situation where a human goes underwater, and there is a very sexual, weird underworld and thrones and prisons and weird things going on down there. So I have read a few, but I would say I definitely need to explore more.
Same. Yeah.
Because it's fun.
It is fun. And again, it's like a lot of like the rules are so interesting. Like the first one I read was a woman goes underwater and she meets the fish monster, and he's like a merman. Mm-hmm. And she can't breathe underwater unless she has sex with him. And obviously it's all consensual and she can like breathe and have sex. And so, and whatever, it's fine. But I was like, those are such interesting rules. You know what I mean? Just like thinking of like all the clever different ways to kind of separate your story from like the rest of the stories out there.
Yeah, for sure. I think that there's so much creativity when you have to, like, the world itself is presenting such a big challenge.
Yeah. Absolutely. Have you ever considered writing anything yourself, or has it ever crossed your mind? I mean, I'm sure everyone asks you that.
I have a few things that I've written that will never see the light of day. I have written stuff since I was a teenager. Mm-hmm. I used to write fan fiction when I was a teenager. Mm-hmm. So like I have written stuff. I've written a contemporary rom-com will never see the light of day, and also a paranormal shifter. Ooh. And technically, like, I have the ideas for that being some kind of a series, but no, it's been archived for now.
Do you think it will ever come out of the archives?
I guess if there's ever time, because like if I do dedicate time to it, the ideas do flow. Yeah. But then I also feel like I'm too much of a perfectionist. So I don't know if I would be willing to put something out until I have like written so many things and I've like practiced enough where I feel like, oh, this is good. Mm-hmm. So that's just all in my head.
Right. But you do a lot of creative stuff, like even coming up with like content that you do, like that's creative writing, and like,
yeah, for sure.
So you are doing it. I guess this is all to say I really want you to write this book.
I'll have to work on that spaceship and the
I love it.
Underwater throne room.
Underwater throne room. Okay. One
They'll just
more.
Be short scenes.
Yes.
We'll put them out.
You want to talk about, okay. This is your final scenario. In my really huge house, I have put together, like, in my dining room, I want to reenact like kind of like a soap opera. Two neighbors are having a forbidden love affair. They're not supposed to be together, and they are. And your job as Victoria is you want to study their acting skills. Which monsters do you think are the best at role playing, aside from Elias, because he's clearly the king of role playing in this world? Which monsters do you think?
Vampires are good at role playing.
They're playing roles. They are.
They are always playing roles. So I would say, and I love a vampire and a witch pairing. So I would say vampire and witch.
That would be fun. They would both, they're both like, those are two theatrical kind of paranormal creatures.
Yeah. Yeah. Those would probably give her a run for her money to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I feel like the vampire would really enjoy it too.
Yeah. Vampires, like, it's so funny because like even like vampires and even the people in this world, they're really, really sexy. Like they're very sexy and confident and stuff. But they're also like, they all are also not too far from like the theater kid from high school. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like a level of dorkiness. And I don't mean that in a mean way.
Yeah. I know
what
I
mean.
Yeah. They're not like the perfect cookie, and I feel like those are like cookie cutter characters, you know, like everything's perfect. They're good at everything they're doing, and they have no problems. So yeah, they feel very real. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's so interesting. Like it's like this moth book was like the most real. It really felt real. Minus the moths, but you know, just a couple of extra antennas. That's all. I mean, who would have thought that dicks have antenna? I think that's the main thing, and that they smell good. Remember when like they were like, "Oh, it smells good." Who was like, "I'm gonna smell your balls"? Like, but hey, if they smell good, I'm here for it. I love the idea of like smell and like he like. And there's like an answer for everything because he's like, oh, I have pheromones. And like, that's another thing I liked is that he took time to like explain his body, you know? Yeah. Which I actually really appreciated because if you think about, I mean, I don't know too much about moths specifically, but bugs in general, the pheromone concept is there. So I really like that she integrated that with the story. It's almost like when I read shifters, I really love to read wolves where I could kind of see the animal traits in the person, let's say. So I feel like she did that really well with this one. Even though like I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know that much about moths, but I think thinking bugs in general, I think she did really good with that. I think so too. Like I think that like sometimes when like if I'm reading something with like a weird supernatural creature and then like years later for some reason I'm watching something on Animal Planet or like kind of like one of those documentaries and they'll say something about an animal part and I'll be like, oh yeah, that was mentioned in like Lessons with the Moth. You know what I mean? Like there is like a science behind it. Now we'll go looking for a moth documentary. Let's fact check her. Yeah, let's make sure the thorax. I have no idea if that was a word that she used, but it just sounds buggy. Oh my God. Yeah, it's so funny. And it's like, it's interesting that he had fur, I thought, you know, like that it was described as fur. I don't think of moths as furry, but I guess they are. Yeah. I kind of thought of it in the same way as like the furry part of like a bee. Yeah. You know, like that's what came in my mind. Like kind of like a wiry fur. Yeah. Like, yeah. I love things with wings. Like I'm here for wings, instant blanket. Love it. Absolutely. You can't go wrong. What were some of the other like monsters that kind of fascinated you in this world that like were either featured either in a sex scene or just like in the world? Like I mean, I think what I liked about the other ones, because again, I don't necessarily think we got enough of them, but I was really fascinated by all of their relationships. So, and like you said, you can tell that there was something going on with them. So I think that exploring the world itself would be fun in all aspects. You know, like it's not, nobody really stood out like, oh, it has to be that one. They were all equally interesting to me. Yes. Like his whole group of friends. And also how like, side note, how he hadn't invited any of the friends to his house. I also found that really interesting. It's like he's close to these people, but not. He closes himself off. So that was actually really interesting too. Yeah, they definitely did a good exploration of kind of like this isolation he feels both put upon himself and put upon by the world. Yeah, that was very fascinating. And like, yeah, it was good. But yeah, I loved all of them. What about you? I like it was just like those small things like
when there was a Yeti, and like it's like those small things when he has to like duck, to go through a door. Like they mentioned that, and it's like those like little things that I really enjoy because like I've read this takes place in Chicago, so we're in Chicago, like what Chicago is, and so like there, you have like your kind of like monsters and humans, and like everyone has, like there are parts where it's like kind of they intermix, and there's other parts where they don't, and like I don't know, just like seeing how like I don't know, like the way they interact with the world around them, like the kind of like the Elias owns the bar that's basically like the Cheers of the monster world, and it's like, oh, what are they ordering, what are they getting, like like it's just that, I know, the mundane of it all. I like it.
I really like that.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, I forgot that he was like a sex worker, but then like he's like, I'm only gonna do freelance because I'm gonna open a bar. And
he's an entrepreneur.
He really can do it all, He can do it all. Yeah. Really, really. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I want to ask for your final thoughts and a rating. I realized I forgot to think of something to rate with. So maybe we'll do dick antenna. That's all I can think about right now is the fact that his dick has antenna. Okay. I'm going to say 1 out of 5 dick antenna means you loved it. I mean, means you hated it.
I was going to say, we're going backwards.
No, that's backwards. Oh my God. Had brain fart. Okay. 5 out of 5 dick antenna means you loved it. 1 out of 5 dick antenna means you didn't like it. Give me your final thoughts. Anything else you want to say about the book, and your rating.
Yeah. So last thing I'm going to say, which I think I've pretty much touched on, is the fact that it's a really interesting world. Mm-hmm. It's a very deep, oddly enough, very deep book. Probably I would have said that some parts could have been a little bit more concise. Like she could have done with shortening the book a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit less detail here and there would have been fine. So, and the way I rate, it's usually like 3 is something I would like. So then between 3 and 4, like, I really liked it. So I'm going to give it a 3.5 dick antennas.
Okay. That's a good grade.
It was good.
Yeah. I'm going to give this 4.5 dick antennas.
Nice.
I agree with you that I feel like parts of it could have been condensed, and dare I say, I can't believe I'm saying this, but some of the sex parts could have been condensed. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but because I loved it, and it was hot and it was sexy, but like there were times where I was like, oh, this could have just been 1 chapter, not 2.
We could have been a little bit shorter with this. Like I think you could have gotten all these major plot points here and like parts in point A into point B a little bit faster. Like come on, wrap it up.
Yeah, I agree. Like there was just
keep it pushing.
Exactly. Yeah, it was kind of like, how like not like the sex is very important in this book, but then there are times where it's like, oh, I could skim this and still kind of get what, you know what I mean? Like at this point. Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of taking out a little bit of detail. That's it. The essence was good. And then I would also like to point out that I probably never give 5 stars to anything. Like I think last year I gave maybe 2 or 3, and that was high for me.
Yeah.
So like 3.5 and 4 is like my standard. So 4 would be like a 5 really for someone.
Of course. Yeah, I'm sure that's like on the show is probably like a 12. Because like I usually give most things like 5 star. Well, I'm a big 5-star giver on Goodreads, on this show. But then if I go on someone else's show and rate something, I rate it terribly. So I feel like my goal this year is to like be more honest, like Victoria. I should be more honest with what I want.
Yeah. I totally get that. And, for me, when I got back into reading, so I've gone through like periods where I read a lot and then there'll be a 10-year slump of not reading. So when I first got back into reading, and this was just a couple of years before we started the blog, I was giving 5 stars like candy. Everything was a 5-star. Like if you look at my old Goodreads, I went through a period, and I don't know if you've read this series, but the Breed series by Laura Lee.
Yeah.
There was a lot of 5 stars in there. And then looking back, I'm like, oh God, if I read that today, it would not be a 5-star. Like, being like a normal person, but
totally. Yeah. But it's like, I don't think I understand what good and bad is anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know what I like, but like, I don't know, like, if I don't, when someone's like, oh, is that good? I'm like, well, what's your version of good?
Yeah.
You know?
Also, it's like, what does that mean for you? Because good could just mean that it entertained the hell out of you.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's a 5-star, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And like, and it also, like, for me, like, sometimes, like, if I know I'm entering kind of like not a rut, what's it called? He's in a rut. But that's a sexy thing. You know, kind of in a slump, I guess, where it's like, okay, I feel like I have read 17, like, you know, romantic suspense books in a row. I should be taking a break from it.
Yeah.
And read something else. It's like all of a sudden you kind of see, like, oh, is this really 3.5 stars or is it 5 stars and it's me? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Which is also why I always recommend that you should, like, I used to do that. I used to like start a series and like read 15 books in or keep in the same genre.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if you switch around, it gives you that variety where you're not getting into that rut.
Yeah.
It is a rut.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because I think especially for me, when I took the holidays off and I just like read what I want and I just read a bunch of Omegaverse things. And now I'm like, I think I overdid it, you know, because like now I'm just like, this is like so much. I can't read any more knots. Like I can't.
Gotta take a break from the knots. It's okay.
It's okay. But
I
it's
remember
like
my first knot.
I mean,
the Laura Lee series.
Who can forget their first knot?
Oh my God. So funny.
My first knot, I didn't even realize it was a knot. I was like, why is it inflating? And then I was like, years later, it was like, oh, I think that was a knot. Like, that's what knots are. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Well, so tell me what you're reading now, what recommendations you have, because I do think that, like, you have perfected the art of giving someone good book recommendations. Oh, so
now the pressure.
Welcome to it. If you don't get this, no, just kidding. Well, tell me what you're reading now, and then what
I'm reading now, and I am enjoying it. So so far I'm probably 35%, and I do recommend it so far. It's A Kiss of Iron by Claire Sager. Okay. It's a fantasy romance. It's royal setting, and the heroine is not royal. She is I think she's a widow, and she had a really horrible relationship with the arranged marriage that they had put her in, and now she's been asked to spy on the prince. And of course she goes undercover in the court and whatever, and she has to like make him fall in love with her so that she can spy and all these things. So far it's really interesting. I really love it. And it has a lot of depth to her character as well, because again, she's gone through a lot. Like there was abuse, there was all these things. And of course things are not like what they seem with the prince that she's supposed to be spying on and stuff. So like there's a lot of good dynamics, which I have really enjoyed. So far I would recommend. I have read this author before. I read one of her standalones, and I also really enjoyed it. So that I recommend. Let's see. Let me give you something else.
Yes.
Actually, let me give you one of my hidden gems from last year.
Okay.
It's a cute fantasy romance, kind of like a fantasy rom-com, and it's by Cassandra Odette. The series is available on Kindle Unlimited. And the Claire Sager is also on Kindle Unlimited. So the Cassandra Odette is A Rivalry of Hearts.
Okay.
And it's a really cute, they're both writers in that one. So she writes Fae Smut, and she's a human. And the hero is a fae, and he's a flower fae.
Interesting.
I'm like, what is happening? Like there's, what do you call it? Vines and stuff involved. I'm like, okay. This is different. It's a little bit less sex than what we just read, but it's really cute and funny. So they go on a tour, like a signing tour together. And there's a lot of like judgment and stuff because he's like, you write Fae Smut. And they have to compete, and whoever sells the most books during the tour will get a publishing contract. So of course they both really need it for different reasons. And so both think that they're not going to get it. So when the tour starts, she is like, there's nobody at her lines, and she starts getting scared that she's not going to make it. So she has pretended like she's knowledgeable in all of the sex things that she puts in her books. So he calls her bluff and says like, okay, so let's see who sleeps with the most people by the end of the tour. And then that's going to be who wins, you know, even if the other gets the contract or sells the most books, whoever sleeps with most people is the one that, you know, either you will be the one or you'll forfeit the contract. So they make a fey bargain, which, you know, you can't break. No, and yeah, it was funny. It was just very, very funny.
Ooh, I'm going to check that out. That sounds great. Well, Francesca, thank you so much for being a guest. This was so fun. This was like, honestly, the best way to kick off this new season of Too Stupid to Live. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. We'll have to do this again soon.
Please. I would love this. And it has to be more monster fucking and weird dicks, all of it.
Okay, we'll find it. It's going to be an underwater next time.
I promise you that. We're sealing this. We're sealing this
Remind
in the ocean.
Yes. Again.
Yes, we will find a really good underwater monster thing. Oh my God. Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Becky.
For links to the books that we discussed today, be sure to check out the show notes or check out the episode page at tstlpodcast.com or on Substack. Thank you so much for listening and have an academically horny rest of your day.